What's up, guys? It's Luis from the Hookup Tackle. Today I'm going to be sharing something that I've been playing around with a lot the last couple of weeks. Now as like the topwater season is coming upon us, it's really hard for me to put down a frog, and this is one that I've been catching them like really good pretty much everywhere I go. So this is the Magnum scooper from Bottom Up. It's this guy here. So I'm just going to go over a couple different ways that we can rig this thing. So. Look at that guy. Crazy. Alright guys, so I've been spending a lot of time fishing clear water lately, which is something that I'm not all that familiar with, especially with like topwater and frog and all that. So I've had to kind of get out of my comfort zone, throw some stuff that I typically wouldn't be throwing or wouldn't be my first choice, not my confidence ones, that type of bait. So I've kind of branched out a little bit, and this frog's been doing me really good because just the hyper realism, right? So in that clear water, these fish, I've seen them like come nose down on this thing. They gave this way more attention, more than like a regular frog or even like a straight retrieve one, or some of those other options that they'd be seeing.
Would you say that the frog is kind of underrated still?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because we've had it now for quite a few months now, but I feel like guys over here in the States haven't really caught on with it. Maybe because they're used to the normal scooper frog, but then they see the Magnum and they're like, it's kind of too big. But I feel like it's the opposite. I see more guys fishing the Magnum instead of the small one.
Yeah, so I feel like it kind of turned around, right? Like there was, in the beginning, I seen a lot more people, like were you saying, kind of maybe a little intimidated to throw like that bigger thing. I mean, it is a pretty big frog. Like,
it is.
It's very meaty, it's pretty thick.
It is the big frog.
Yeah, so like it's a lot to eat, and like typically I'm not throwing stuff like on a 6/0 hook, but like this guy,
crazy.
Yeah, so like it's pretty you
need a real hook.
You need a big hook for this guy, like a lot of bite, and like the way you rig it is you have it sitting so far back.
That's true.
There's like a little tiny protrusion where like a butt would be, and I feed the point right through there.
So the hook really covers the entire body.
Yeah.
Okay.
And something like, I get a lot of questions too. People come in and like I'm just showing them frogs in general. A lot of people are afraid to throw a single hook frog, but like how often do you actually catch frogfish on both hooks?
That's true. It's always normally like one,
it's usually
right?
like one, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that kind of like, don't let phase me or whatever, right?
Got it.
So once I kind of got over that, right, this has quickly became like, one that I feel like I have a lot of confidence in now.
Now, from just a viewer standpoint, you have this thing rigged, and when I think of a frog, I don't think of a weight on the front of the frog. Yeah. So you're definitely fishing this very different than how guys are traditionally thinking about throwing a frog. So talk to us about how you're rigging this thing.
Yeah, so I like rigging it like either between this like a Jika, kind of like this, where it's just straight the weight
okay.
straight to the split ring, and then right to the hook.
Huh.
So I don't know if I particularly have one that I prefer over the other. The alternative would be with the hang glider.
Okay, that's that new Ryugi.
And I kind of like this because it keeps the weight a little bit further off the bait.
Oh.
And I've had, not that it's an issue, but the other one I've had, you know, flip over on me a little bit. This one, the way when I rig it like this, I don't have that problem at all. But both of these two ways, I really like fishing it because you can fish a little subsurface, or if I'm just trying to like pick apart like a brush pile or like some, you know, one point of cover, right? You can kind of like get in there more a little bit with the weight and all that. But I could still work it fast enough where it's still breaking the surface and like, you know, causing the commotion and it's getting their attention, right? The reason
what size weight, by the way?
So this is a 5 grammer.
It's a 5 gram. Okay.
I like that 5 grams, kind of like a happy medium for me, because I could still work it fast and have it still be on the surface. But if I slow it down, you know, I can kind of get it to sink, and it's got a nice slow kick on the fall. Like
the kicking
just go like,
action's what is like the biggest thing with that frog, right?
Yeah. So those legs, I mean, nothing's gonna beat those legs in realism. I don't think, right? But I like fishing it with that on the Jico or this hang glider thing, I guess is what you call it. Just, it's nice to be able to, let's say they're just really aggressively coming to the top, right? They just want it right on the surface. That noise is getting their attention, all that. So what I do is, I mean, really easy fix. You just pop that right off, and then you can just throw it. I mean, if you needed it to get down deeper or something too, like, I mean, you're trying to fish it more like a jig or you know, get it down there, you could just, you know, pop on a heavier weight or something like that too.
Makes sense. Easy, quick changing, right?
Yeah. So out of necessity, like these last couple times I've gone out, it's been like really clear water. I've had to actually throw this frog on like 20-pound fluoro, or at least a leader. I had a lot of fish coming up, and they'd actually turn on it. Like they were getting a really good look at it, and it was kind of a little more like open water stuff. So something I'm not all that kind of like learning, you know, with that. So that's something I've just kind of added in, you know.
So where are you fishing? You said open water. Are you throwing to specific targets, like a pocket, a tree? You're not really throwing this on like mats or super thick stuff, right?
So I could, but specifically, well, like with the leader and everything, right? I was needing to like maximize the realism of the bait, right? So didn't want to give them like any doubt, any line to see or anything like that, right? Yeah. And I was kind of just like paralleling toolies or getting in a little bit. There were some pockets I could kind of skip underneath and get into, but for the most part, it's kind of, when I was working it fast, I'm kind of just swimming it along.
Got it.
Because these fish can see it now at this point, right? Typically, I'm getting it in, you know, I'm just swimming it like over a little pocket where they're getting like, you know, a second just to react to it. But it was really cool to see these fish come up, and like I would see them come out of, you know, cover or just out of nowhere, and they'd come up and make that choice, that decision right underneath to come up and finish eating it.
That's so rad.
Really cool.
Yeah, that's a badass frog overall, and I think more guys should give it a shot. Would you say? Yeah, definitely slept on. Like we said, a little intimidating because it's a little big, right? Like a lot of guys are just comfortable throwing like those really small frog, like Kyra or about that size or something like that. So, I mean, they eat it. That's not something I think people should be worried about. I mean, they get just as many bites, if not. I mean, I was catching bigger fish in general with those, so just kind of weeding them out in That's
general.
a big plus, right?
Yeah.
You throw a bit bigger frog and you catch bigger, great fish, which is super nice, where I feel like if you do throw the smaller frog, you do have to weed through a lot more of those smaller guys. So it just depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm catching more, you know, with those little guys, but definitely the quality of fish is pretty good with this guy so far. So
awesome. Are you using just a normal frog rod, or are you doing a slightly bit different rod?
So I'm using the Frogman, one of the raid rods we just got in. It's a really sick rod. It's got a huge weight rating. It's very generous. So it lets me throw those smaller frogs, which I typically throw in a lot of like the local waters, smaller, you know, stuff. But then when I want to go to a full-size frog or like something kind of heavier like that, even with the weight and everything too added on there, it's handled it no problem. Just that with some kind of an 8-speed reel is pretty much
go-to, right?
Go-to, yeah.
Got it.
So next time you guys are thinking about trying to find something different or just something new that your fish haven't seen, this is a really good option for that, because I was going behind people that I know were frogging, and this is why I actually chose this frog, was because I knew this is something that the guy ahead of me wasn't going to be throwing.
Right. They're going to be throwing like a normal kite.
Yeah, like a skirted legs,
frog.
Right.
On
Like
top
saying
of the
probably
water.
a little smaller, right on the surface. I mean, like when these fish are having that long to look at it, or that clarity in the water, right? I mean, this is going to be my first choice pretty much now. So with only a few months left of frogging season, sadly, this is going to be a good option, I think, for a lot of people. Clear water or dirty water. I think it's going to excel in that clear water. That's where I found like my use for it. But yeah, I think you guys are going to be successful with it. And so yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.